Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is Merlin Joshi, and today I would like to show you how I made one of the main sounds in my song Electric City, which is coming out very soon. I will update you by the end of the video because I'm not actually sure when it is yet. But until then, let's get on to it. Let's get in our DAW. Alright guys, now that we're in our DAW, let us start by showing you what the drop actually sounds like, because it's not out yet, obviously. So this is pretty much the last part of the build into the drop, and then I will show you how I made the main bass in it.
Everybody get out of here while you still can.
That's pretty much the whole gist of the first drop. Now, I couldn't record this in the actual project because the actual project kept running out of memory, so that's a darn shame. But I have the preset right here, straight from the project, as you can see, Electric City preset, and it sounds like this. Of course, there was some compression in the actual project and a limiter, but it is the same preset, in Serum at least. So pretty much, let's start from the beginning. Let's just yeet all these away and yeet that away, and yeet that away. That too, and we started pretty much with this. Pretty boring, right? But that's the wavetable I chose, and it's Squelchy FM2. Seamless one, I'm pretty sure. And then I put bend plus and minus on it and modulated it with LFO1. Nice, right? And then I turned up the voices to make it unison, just to give it more of a stereo effect. The next thing I did was I turned this oscillator down. I just didn't want it making noise anymore. So I FM'd oscillator B by oscillator A. Ooh, excuse me. I FM'd oscillator B by oscillator A. Just a little bit, like that much. If you can eyeball that, it'll sound pretty much accurate. And then I put on the modulation for that one. And then I put volume automation on the oscillator. And then it sounded like this. I wanted it to sound really crunchy. And I love that FME sound. So the importance of the volume automation is just to give your sound more of a good shape. And that's what the LFO is doing. It kind of follows the LFO shape, so that's my goal. Then the next thing I did was I put on a high notch filter. You can see this is where the sound gets most of its vowel. It's a yoy kind of sound, you know. I guess it's more of a yay. Yay. The Electric City. And then, pretty much after that, it was time to move on to the effects. So, first of all, I put on a hyperdimension, just to increase the stereo feel again a bit. So I put some distortion on it, and it sounds like this. Crunchier a little bit, adds a bit of crunch. I put a flanger on it with a really low, I don't think there's any space to make it go down further. No, yeah, the flanger's at 0, and let's see what it does all the way up. Kind of combs it a little bit, and just pulling it back, give it a little more shape. Then I put a phaser on for kind of the same idea, but this time it's more of a vowel-y thing. You can see what it's doing there, and then I turn it down. Now that I look back on it, it doesn't make that much difference of the sound. But then a chorus, give it a more detuned nature. And then I put the delay on it. The delay gives it a metallic feel. It kind of gives it a bit of a tail as well. In the actual song, I have it limited and gated so that the tail isn't as harsh. When it was compressed, it got very harsh. So I had to get rid of it. Next thing was the filter. The filter, I had a lot of hard times choosing this one. I don't know why, but I decided on the Phase 12 HL6 Plus, if you want to be fancy. And it's hardly doing anything. Actually, that's not 100% true. It's linked to macro 1. So depending on what the macro is set on, it pretty much changes the sound. And that's something I took advantage of in the song. And then I put the compressor on. You can see how the delay is causing that tail, so that's why I put the gate on. And then just an EQ. That was really I don't know, I put this on to give it more meat. I felt like it was very high-end heavy, so I put a little bit more mids, and I moved them around. Just without it, it's really like nasally almost. Now it's really throaty. Oh man, what's his name would love this, me describing words with sounds with words. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then I put the macros on, and the macros are just controlling those two things. For this macro, it's the flanger, and for this macro, it is, let me find it. It is the position of the wavetable. As you can see, that macro does a lot more than macro 2, but I found when they were paired together, it gave it a nice little touch. And that's pretty much it. So enjoy my new track. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you got something from it. My track, Electric City, is going to be out. I figured it out. Sunday, December 16th. Which for you might be a couple of days from now, but for me, it's a week from now. So, hope you enjoyed. See you next time, guys.